Hey everyone, this is Lynn from At Home with Lynn Wilson. Thanks for stopping by. Today you can come join me in my kitchen. I am whipping up a pot of soup from leftovers that I have. It's going to be a kitchen soup, if you've ever heard of that expression. I know when I was younger, my grandmother used to call it kitchen soup, and it was whatever was in the refrigerator. So I just got back. Actually, I should tell you, it's a Tuesday afternoon. It's getting a little chilly out there, and here in New Jersey it started out warm and beautiful this morning, but now it's getting a little nippy, and a pot of soup and some crusty bread would be oh so good. But we had a homeschool event today. We went to a friend's house with our school group, our online support group called Ready Set Homeschool, and there were, I think, 19 kids and 5-7 moms, something like that. We celebrated Valentine's Day. We did some games, we did some crafts, we celebrated a little bit of Chinese New Year's. It was great. We had a ball. Came home, and now it's time to make some soup. And I'll tell you, in the last 24 hours, we've had a few storms and some chaos happen in our home and family, and kind of made me start thinking, what should I be doing, what should I not be doing? You ever have one of those moments? You just kind of like stumped. Life kind of changed, and you have to go, okay, now what do I do? My problem is I'm a creative person. So if you're creative, you know what I mean. You become very, we could do this and this and this and this, and your mind goes like this, and you're thinking out of the box, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, sometimes I have to bring it down, and I need to think on simplicity, and I need to just keep things light and not be chaotic and not be so over the top. So that's kind of where I'm at today. So I thought I would jump on YouTube here and throw a video together for you. This is a very impromptu. I'm going to make soup. You're going to come along with me in my kitchen. Maybe I'll teach you a few tips and tricks on how to make some soup from basically whatever's in that refrigerator of yours. So today I was making breakfast, and I went to get a pot and some dishes and things, and I saw this recipe it's from a company called Roadside Market in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it's Hearty Soup Fix that I had picked up the other day. It was $2.05 for this bag. Pretty good, I think. And the recipe's on the back, and it calls for this soup mix, 8 cups of water or broth, salt, carrots, celery, shredded cabbage, a quart of tomatoes, some ground beef, and you simmer for an hour, and so on and so forth. Well, that sounds like a great soup, but we're not making that today because I don't have all those ingredients. I tend to be, whatever I've got goes in the pot. It always comes out great. So we're going to make some soup today. So what I do have is a Mod Podge of leftovers. We're going to start with some chicken broth. You all can use your organic chicken broth, homemade chicken broth. I do that quite often. I make my own homemade. But this is called Real Life. This is Working Mama. Grab what you've got in the fridge and create something to feed the family. So I agree, organic, wholesome, whole grain, and all that good stuff, but we don't have that right now. And we need to eat, and I've got leftovers. So whatever God blessed me with in our pantry and our refrigerator is what we're using. So I'm using my Instant Pot. I love my Instant Pot. I use it for almost everything. So you can watch me. I'll explain as we go along and hopefully give you some ideas for soup. And then we'll continue our conversation in a few minutes. So get every drop out of here. I've got 2 containers of chicken broth, and they are 32 ounces. Again, I don't measure a whole lot, especially when it comes to soup, because it always comes out good. Now, I got these at Dollar General, and it's Clover Valley. It's their brand. And I'll tell you, I paid 99 cents. They were on sale. So, pretty good deal. I picked them up the one day we stopped there for milk and some eggs and stuff. They had these on sale. I figured, at one moment I'm going to need them, so I picked them up. So, we're dumping in our 2 containers of chicken broth. I'm going to dump in this whole package of soup mix, and I believe, let's see what's in here. There's some corn, some peas, some pasta, some barley, probably some other good stuff. You can go to this Amish market and they have a lot of bulk food. It's just a tiny little market, and they carry a ton of stuff though, and they have all this kind of bulk food. Let's see if I can show you a little bit more on the camera how yummy that looks. And it's got all kinds of grains and things. So we're gonna dump this in. All right, and I've got some garlic here, squeezable garlic. Yes, you can chop up fresh garlic. We're not doing that today. We're doing quick and easy. You need a quick and easy soup? Here you go. Get that garlic down to the bottom here. 1, 2, 3 squirts, whatever that measures to. Okay, so I'm also going to add some garlic powder. A couple of shakes of that. And then we have some onion powder. So I'm going to sprinkle that around the pot. Again, I'm not measuring. This is not a exact recipe. This is what Lynn's got. So a little salt. Yes, leave the salt out if you don't want to do that. You can always salt it up later. Little pepper. Now I have some leftovers. They called for ground beef. I don't have ground beef. But we get HelloFresh a couple times a month. And we got a HelloFresh package. And again, I don't follow directions very well. But it called for chicken and this and that and the next thing. Well, I decided to do my own thing, and I made it like a chicken stir fry and made the chicken in the Instant Pot and shredded it. Well, you want to smell it? It's really good. It's got jalapenos in there. It's got kick. It's got bite. And my youngest son does not like anything spicy, so we're going to tone the soup down, use the spice to add flavor, but tone it down with a can of cream of chicken soup. Again, I can hear some mamas out there saying, no canned soup. You know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make a soup. You add a can of cream of chicken soup, and yes, I do make my own homemade things too. This time I don't have any on hand. But that will tone the spice down. It'll add a cream and some body to the soup and give it some really good flavor. So we're going to take the leftover chicken and sauce and all the jalapenos. I'm not saying that right. Jalapenos? You can correct me on that. Peppers. It's got all kinds of goodness in here. So we're going to dump that in. We're going to dump the can of soup in. I'm also going to add about 3/4 of a can of water. Okay, just to kind of balance out the soup and the broth. Now, I don't have any fresh veggies. I have to go shopping. You know, you get to the end of the week or the end of the 2-week whenever you shop. But I do dehydrate. So I have some dehydrated carrots. So I'm going to throw a couple of handfuls of that in there. Let's do 3 handfuls of carrots. Now that one, let's see. That one looks a little big. So here's what I chopped them up real fine, and that's what my dehydrated carrots look like. And they'll plump up nice. And then I have some dehydrated corn. Let's throw that in there too. So here's my corn. You can see that, dehydrated. We'll throw in a good couple of handfuls of that. And that'll plump up nice. Now, can I tell you a secret? Promise you don't tell my son. He doesn't like spinach. Well, he thinks he doesn't like spinach. So, I have some dehydrated spinach, as you can see here. And it just looks like that. And yes, it definitely smells like spinach. It's stinky. Spinach doesn't smell great. But he'll never know. I'm going to take this, and because it's dehydrated, I can crush it. Let me show you. It looks just like parsley flakes now, right? So when you cook that down in the soup, it'll just be these tiny green flecks that are in the soup. He'll never know it's spinach. So if you don't tell him, I won't tell him. And by the way, this jar here doesn't look like much, but that's one of those really big bags. I don't know how many ounces, but a big bag of spinach that you dehydrate. It fills the jar. So that's a pretty good deal. All right, so we're gonna crush up, let's say, what do you think? 2 handfuls? Does that sound good? All right, that looks good to me. So here's what I do. That was pretty quick and easy. What do you think? We're gonna put the lid on. We're gonna hit the soup button on the Instant Pot, and then we're gonna let it do its thing. When it's all done at the end, what I like to do is add some Parmesan cheese to it. I don't like to do it now. I kind of learned that it makes it a little stringy, the cheese. It's kind of weird. So once it's all done, I will add this cheese and it'll give it oh so good flavor. A little extra salt as well. Yes, you can put this on the saute button. You can use your Instant Pot. Each one is a little different. Each pressure cooker is different. If I wanted to, I could just put it on the saute. I don't feel like kind of stirring it and watching it. So I'm going to stir it up right now just to get that cream of chicken soup in there kind of mixed up. Why don't you come on over here? My hubby's doing the videoing right now, and you can see what it looks like. So you'll still have, like, as you stir it, you'll have some lumps of the soup in here. That's okay. It'll melt down. But I just kind of like to mix all the things together, kind of marry all the flavors, get them all married together. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to put on the lid. So I'm going to get my lid on, close it, set the pressure gauge correctly, and we're going to hit soup. So that's going to cook for 30 minutes. We'll come back in 30 minutes and see how the soup's doing, and I'll show you in the pot, and I'll also show you in a nice bowl. But while that's cooking, oh, it's coming up to pressure. Hear that beeping? While it's cooking up, let me just tell you a little bit about what I'm going to do with this pot of soup, because this soup's going to have a story to tell. We do a lot of ministering to people out of our home. And one of the things that I have found as a woman, we don't have a lot of people that do hospitality anymore. I grew up, my mother-in-law always set a table on Sunday and she invited people over after church. My mom always had people over. But somehow we've lost that art of inviting our neighbors in, inviting a friend in, doing for others. You know, most of us work full-time, whether it's in the home or out of the home. We have crazy schedules. If you have kids, you're off to soccer practice, you're off to dance class. They've got after-school specials. You know what it's like. It's crazy. If you're married without children, you have just a bit of a crazy life, I'm sure. Your husband's got something at work. You've got something at work. You know what it's all about. And single women, you've got your own set of things going on. Everybody has busy. Everybody's busy. We all have a planner. You hear everybody say, I'm so busy, I can't get anything done. Oh no, I'm so busy. Well, you know what? I have tried over the years with learning from people in my life that have shown me hospitality. I need to turn that into a gift that I can give others. So one of the things we're going to do with this soup is I'm going to cook it up and we're eating it for dinner. So that's one thing. And then we have a family member who we got a call on last night who's not feeling well. And they're going through some tough stuff, so we want to be able to maybe pack up some soup and deliver that tomorrow to them. Brighten their day, give them some good nutrition, and also put a smile on their face and hopefully some encouragement. I always tell people I sprinkle a little extra love in there and a little extra encouragement. And then we have, in a couple days, my husband does some mentoring and some counseling. And so what we're going to do is have this person comes once a week for lunch. So I'll have a nice pot of soup for him. I'll make a fresh loaf of bread in the bread machine. And what a great opportunity to minister to him. I'll minister to him physically by feeding him and my husband some homemade soup and some bread. And my husband can minister him emotionally and spiritually by mentoring him and investing in his life. I'll tell you one thing. A pot of soup can be very simple to make. It wouldn't be very complicated. It's not very expensive. You can use what's in your fridge. And I'm going to show you some great recipes along the way with some other videos. It can be very expensive. You can buy the fresh and the best and organic, and that's great too. Hey, whatever works for you. You know your budget. You know your kind of skill level. And you also know whatever God blesses you with, take that and create something wonderful. But I'll tell you, make a pot of soup, make double, make triple, and say, who can I bless with that? Sometimes there's a single woman that I work with at work, and she's alone. She's single. She's older. And she says, oh, sometimes I just wish I had a pot of soup. So I'll make a small container. Oh, that's our dog barking. Just ignore Kip. And I'll make a little container of soup for her, and I'll bring that into work, and she will thank me over and over and over. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to wrap this up right now for a few minutes, and I'm going to check on the soup, and I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. We're going to check on that soup, see how it came out. Okay, so let's turn off the Instant Pot, open the lid, and check it out. Okay. Oh, let's stir it up. Okay. We have, oh man, see the chicken? Look at this. Can you see it? Oh, can you smell it? It's got some corn and pasta, and I think there's some lentils maybe in there. There was some peas. Kind of smells like a pea soup. Again, it was a hearty soup mix, so I don't really know all what was in it. But look at those flakes of spinach. You can see little specks of spinach. All right, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to serve this up, put it in a bowl. I have some rolls that I have left over. Let's check it out and taste it. Now remember, it's our secret that there's spinach in there. Don't tell my son, because he won't eat it. But with this little bit, I don't think he can tell. So if you have fussy eaters at home too, just think about it that way. You can break things up, especially if you dehydrate them. You can crush them, and they'll never know. And I'll tell you, that spinach that I dehydrated, if you crush it up, you could put it in meatloaf. They'll never tell that either. So let's shake up our cheese. Got to add a little cheese to it. Now what I normally do is probably like a third of this container in this big pot. I would dump that in here directly and stir it up. But for right now, I'm going to sprinkle some on top. Let's do a little taste test, stir in my cheese. And I'll be honest, if I don't like it, I'll let you know. Because I'm not always a fan of my own cooking, but my husband loves it. So let's try it out. Thumbs up 100%. This is a good hearty soup. This is really good. Oh no, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you what time dinner was tonight. You guys could have come over and joined me for soup. Remind me next time to let you know. You know, we were talking about earlier just the art of hospitality and reaching out to others, and it is just a passion of my heart. There are so many people that are hurting and they're lonely. They feel like they don't have a friend in the world. And I'll tell you, just something as simple as this, a pot of soup. As I was making the soup, I got a text from a friend, and they said, their kids are down sick. So even something like that, I could bundle up some soup and drop it off. Even if they don't want it that day, they can stick it in the freezer. It's okay. And we're going to give it to a family member, maybe to a friend. We're also going to use it when we mentor someone at the end of the week and have a pot of soup. But you know, if somebody popped in and knocked on your door around dinner time, lunchtime, or any time, and they just looked like they needed a friend, we have a rule in our house. We tell all of our friends our coffee pot is always on. House might be a little messy, but the coffee pot is on. In other words, our house is open. You need a friend, we're here. And you guys have joined me in my home tonight. And yeah, the coffee pot's on for you. I just forgot to tell you what time dinner was. Otherwise, you could have come over and joined me. But, you know, something like this, you could have this in the freezer, whip this out, warm it up very quickly, and say, hey, you know what? I just have a pot of soup on. Why don't you join me and stay and have some soup with me? It relaxes people. The smell of homemade soup, the taste of homemade soup, the nutrients that are in there. And you can put anything. Again, we can do the organic, we can do the natural, we can do the wholesome. You could go vegetarian, you could go vegan, you can go any direction you want. But my point with this pot of soup in particular, this soup is not just soup. This soup is encouragement, it's love, it's friendship. It's all rolled up into this recipe of what I call soup, but it's going to minister to a lot of people. And I know that that soup will be a blessing in more than just them eating that bowl of soup. That'll be a memory that they shared with us in our home. And I really hope you take on that challenge of, you know what? I've got a few things left over in my refrigerator. What can I come up with? We've got Pinterest, we've got Google. I'll tell you what, you email me, and you'll see my email in the description below, and say, these are the ingredients I have in my fridge. What can I make with it? I am known in my local area with my friends as the soup lady. Everybody always says, bring your soup, bring your soup. Even my coworkers, if they're watching this video, they'll be laughing because a lot of times I will make a full pot in my Instant Pot of soup, and I'll bring it to work and surprise them. And for lunchtime, everybody that I'm working with gets some soup, and they love it. So, and my soups are not from a recipe per se. Some of them once in a blue moon, but most of them are just dump it in there, whatever you got, and that's what you get, and they come out great. So email me the list of ingredients if you need some help. I'd love to help you out. So I'll tell you what, I'm glad you came by today. I hope you enjoyed some of the tips on hospitality, some of the tips on how you can invest in a life, and some of the tips on what you can dump in a Instant Pot. You can do it on the stovetop. It doesn't have to be in an Instant Pot. And how you can make a simple soup out of everything that's in your refrigerator. But don't forget to add a little encouragement, a little love, a little friendship, and just a little something special so that person who's receiving the soup on the other end knows that they're special. Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm so glad you stopped by. Thanks for coming over to my house. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe because there's lots more videos coming out. And I hope you have a great day.